Welcome back to the Cleve Loveland and Lone Ranger Show. We give you all your real estate and mortgage news from two guys that have been in the business probably longer than most of you have been alive. And
That's for sure.
I mean, I think, my first house I sold, it was I think it cost like $60,000, but then my mom tells me one she sold for $20,000.
It's funny you say that because I'm like 60. What did I turn? 62 or 63? I can't even remember I think I'm 62.
Yeah.
And you're how old?
56.
All right, so we got 110 plus years of experience. If anybody is listening to this show and you're over 110 years, give us a call at the radio station. We'd love to interview you. 407-250-9144. Let us know about your real estate experience.
How you traded a couple goats and a horse for your first house, or the first house you bought in Florida. But the one thing I want to dive into, Bruce, right now in this market, hot market, steady market, stable market in Central Florida real estate, is the number of real estate agents. Because of COVID, whenever unemployment, the economy takes a hit and there's any kind of major unemployment, everybody goes running to real estate. Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, that's
as
glamorous.
As soon as they lose the job, they want to be a realtor.
And now there's 10 shows, there's 20 shows on TV that show how glamorous it could be, which is all Hollywood made up stuff, just about. And so this is what's very important. When you're interviewing somebody, you can just call me if you're thinking you need a good realtor, you need a good real estate team. I've got a list of 10 things you can ask an agent, but it's, time in the business. How many homes a week do you sell? I list and sell 3 or 4 a week.
Right.
And it's just that kind of experience. The main thing about me really is I'm an expert negotiator, and I will negotiate the most for you. A lot of people say, oh, I'll charge you a little bit of commission. But what happens? What's that matter if they charge you a small percentage on commission and they're going to give away the farm when the offer comes in? They're twisting your arm to sign a low offer, and you don't know what's going on. So it's all about knowing the market and experience. And I am a master negotiator. But the number of listings right now, think about this: the number of listings out there outnumbers the number of real estate agents. Or excuse me, the number of agents is higher than the number of listings. And same thing in Central Florida, just about.
Something. I think you bring up a good point, and I want our listeners to hear this loud and clear because I don't think it sinks in loud enough. Nowadays with the internet, anybody can find properties on the internet. So if you can find properties on the internet, there'd be no need for a realtor unless you have a great negotiator. And what happens is I find a lot of people, they will pick their best friend's cousin or somebody they went to school with or their neighbor because I got a client right now that chose their neighbor to list their home because the neighbor said, hey, why don't we list your home? And they said, okay. And then the realtor has no clue. Like they are literally clueless. Here's the thing. It's the biggest investment you have, and yet you're willing to go to the easiest person that you like to put your biggest investment in their hands. A good realtor needs that one quality, and that's a master negotiator. And when you talk to somebody like Cleve, that's what you're looking for, you guys. You're not looking for anybody can put a sign in the yard and put it on MLS. Come on, I can get a monkey to do that.
People don't realize that, but also it's the process. What's the process going to look like? And I've got a process for dealing with multiple offers, how to set a house up for multiple offers. I know how to deal with the agents, and I know how to get that done. Bruce, you asked me earlier, I'm going to jump real quick. You asked me earlier, what's our median price? I just got some Florida numbers here I found in one of my articles. Median price statewide, and it's probably about the same for probably a little less for Central Florida, is $309.
$309.
So now that includes Dade and Broward. That's probably skews it a little bit. So let's say we're high 200s for our median price.
Well, you're probably 292.
Yeah. And so, but this is what's going on now. And what's important though is just like you might not give somebody a refi because you say, well, it's not worth it.
Right.
What's important? I talk to some people. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Where are you going? Is this the right time to sell? I just counseled a couple. There was a divorce, and they were actually getting along. They said, well, we're going to sell the house. And when I did the numbers for them, I said, well, if one of you can keep this house, you don't need to sell. One should always keep a house if you can. If it works for you and you can afford it, just refi and get one spouse off if one person wants to keep the home and not uproot the kids. And that was what was more important. I'm not in it to get a transaction out of everything like the online lender. And this is what's important about telling people, your interest rate's good. It's not worth refinancing, or this is the best loan product for you. And we talked about how the bubble was fueled by bad loans.
Well, let's talk about that when we come back from the next
break. That's right.
We're
bottom of the hour break. I forgot about that. 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com, Bruce.
Or 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com.